How's it going? I want to give you an overview on all of my tanks. I've been away recently and a few things have happened, and some good things and some not so good things. But yeah, I just wanted to talk through each tank and you can get an idea of where they all are and where hopefully they're going to be in a couple of months' time. So let's get to it. I want to start with this tank. Up here, it's the most recent tank that I've set up. It's gone through its ugly stage, and unfortunately, the Bucephalandra needle leaf that I put in there around this sort of tree-like structure completely melted away. But apart from that, it's been pretty solid growth everywhere. I've got a few snails and a couple of shrimp in here, but the main stars of the show are in this little Tupperware here. Now these are rice fish, is it Medaka? Off a seller on eBay. And I think I've got 10 eggs, and I think I've got 6, possibly 7 fry now. The rest of the eggs didn't hatch, but they're growing an awful lot slower than what I thought they'd grow, but they are still growing. But back to the tank, like I say, everything's growing in well. The Rotala's really taking off. Got quite a lot of floating plants, and I always put in some quick growing stem plants just floating around, so they send out their aerial roots, and it just sort of helps sort of mature the tank a bit quicker just by having more plant mass inside the water. So I've been doing regular water changes once a week, as I do with all my tanks. I've been taking out floating plants, and as you can see, I could probably start taking out some more, but this is Hygrophila poisperma, just a fast growing stem plant. It's just not even planted in, it's just floating in the water column, like I said. You see all of these aerial roots coming down. They're all doing a good job just balancing out the water. So I'm going to start phasing this stuff out, so just putting out a small little bit each week. Then by 4 weeks time, there'll be no more of this floating stem left. I installed some Bucephalandra needle leaf there, and then there. As you can see, it's completely melted away. Not looking great at all. But apart from that, I have to say, everything else is looking pretty good. Shrimps and snails, they're doing a great job keeping the place clean. All of this stuff over here is growing nicely. I can take you around the sides. Everything's got some pretty nice root systems, and they're all reaching down to that substrate layer. It's the first time I've used Tropica substrate. So far so good, I think. Yeah, so I put down Tropica substrate first, and then put aqua soil behind the rocks, and then we have decorative sand on top to create the path. And it's getting towards the vision I had for it. So the idea was to have all of this Rotala growing up tall, filling up the tank. And it's getting there. I put in some, you can see this slightly red leaf plant here. This is Cryptocorini spiralis tiger. I got a pot, a 1-2 grow pot from Aquaflare, and I put loads of it in my main tank downstairs, but I just wanted to spread it around, and I thought this would be a great tank for it. Currently getting a little bit swamped by this Rotala, so I think I'm going to give that a quick little haircut just to make sure that the crypt has got enough space to grow, mature. Everything else is looking grand apart from that Bucephalandra. I'll put on my macro lens, show you, focus, a little fry. There we go. Oh, it's a bit wobbly. Yeah, these are the little fry that have happy hours. Put in some floating plants. Yeah, they're growing fine. I'm reluctant to put them into the tank yet because they're just a bit too small. I think another couple of weeks and then we'll be putting them in. Next tank is this bowl aquarium. I think I set it up back in January, maybe early February. It's been quite a success until recently. I went away on holiday for a week with the family and I came back and it was a bit of a green soup, which isn't ideal, but I've been doing regular water changes sort of a couple of days a week. And I've added in some of this Hygrophila polysperma. I don't know, maybe a snail died or something like that. I don't know. I can't find anything. But yeah, it's a little bit concerning seeing how much of a soup. It's beginning to stabilize. The plants are doing well. It's not really, yeah, I'm still seeing the shrimp about and some snails. But I don't really know what's happened. I mean, apparently it's quite hot here. So we'd gone from quite chilly to quite warm. So maybe that was maybe that was something that happened that's causing an impact. And I guess this is a smaller water volume compared to the other tanks up here, so maybe it's less stable because of that, because it's a smaller aquarium. But it seems to be recovering well, settling down again. The trident fern, because of where it is, I located it quite high up the rock. It means I'm not really getting that sort of depth of view anymore. Apart from that, yeah, it's a fine. There's not really any issues really. And I'm going to keep on going with the water changes, and because I've still got remnants of this green sludgy algae just in amongst this hair grass. But every time I do a water change, I'm putting a little brush down there, trying to lift out, manually remove as much as I can. Yeah, that's it really. Autopilot. Next up, I've got these two tanks. Seems a bit of a pair. We've got jungle tank there, and we've got this bit more traditional nature aquarium style triangle composition. Triangle, well, the Bucephalandra and the trident fern had been in buckets for a good sort of 5, 6, maybe even 7 weeks, not getting much light, and they were looking a bit gnarly. But I decided to bear with them and give them a chance. And the Bucephalandra is doing great, and the trident fern is getting better. Again, I think I've installed the trident fern a little bit too high. The grass-like section at the back hasn't really taken off like I wanted it to, but it's doing okay, it just needs time. And again, I still haven't removed the Hygrophila polysperma because I knew that I was going to be away, so I'm going to start taking it away bit by bit, week on week, reducing some of the floating plants too. I think this is quite mature, getting mature. But I know that when I start taking away those plants, I'm going to destabilize it a bit. So that's why I want to do it slowly and slowly, because I don't want it to cause too much of an imbalance. So I think if you do too much of a change too quickly, you know, quite a lot of bad stuff can happen. So you can see the trident fern. I don't know, I guess it is giving quite a strong look. You can always tell the health of your trident fern as to if it's producing loads of plantlets on the end of its leaves. It means it's possibly not happy. And maybe it's a fertilizer thing, maybe it's a maturity thing, maybe because it was on the brink of death from being in a bucket. I don't really know. But look at these Bucephalandras. They really sort of come back from the dead. They all kind of melted a little bit, especially this one over here. Yeah, it melted when I put it back into this tank, but it seems to have recovered quite happily. Got some green algae on the rocks, but I don't know, I just think it sort of helps with the look. Because these were rocks from my garden, little pebbles that I boiled just to make sure I wasn't bringing in anything nasty. Boiled them for a good half an hour. Yeah, Marsilia is quite happy. I think this is one of the more successful tanks I've had with Marsilia. This is the easy version, the larger, easier version. Oh, I think it's looking quite good. But yeah, you see this grassy area at the back? I had visions of it being all the way up, all the way up to the top, giving that really nice sort of jungly vibe. It seems to be taken off all right over here. I'm wondering if it's just not getting enough light. Oh yeah, you can see I've also popped in a couple of peace lilies. I had a few spare plantlets from making the aquarium, the new peace lily aquarium. So I didn't really know what to do with them, so I've just popped them in. And they're doing fine, they're not hurting anything here. Then we have the triangle tank. Again, getting a bit of algae on the rocks, but I don't know, it's creating a nice sort of look. So all the rocks are pretty grey and bland. Again, these are from my garden. I boiled them before, for a good half an hour before putting them in the tank. And this is not a trident fern, but a Draba fern. And it's quite a bit of algae on the old stuff, on the old leaves, but in removing them, excuse the reflection, I've been getting loads of new leaves coming through. So patience, often pays off. And this Bucephalandra completely melted back. But as you can see, there's loads of new leaves. So I think since melting back, it's beginning to become happy again. That's good. It's nice to see. Again, clump of Hygrophila polysperma, just increasing that plant mass because the stems at the back, Rotala HR, these are just offcuts from the bowl. I'm going to take a few more offcuts soon and add them to that area. I just want to make more of a dense plant mass at that back section. Slowly start removing these again, a small bit, week by week. But yeah, settling in quite nicely. I'm quite happy with those two. I mean, design-wise, I think these guys are looking pretty good. A couple of errors, but the whole point of smaller tanks is to really sort of test new skills, try out new things. Yeah, I'm enjoying them. Now I moved on to this one. It's my most recent build. Oh my, sorry, the glass is pretty bad at the moment. I'm just going to give it a quick clean. That's a lot better. Murks up the water ever so slightly, but I'm just going to let the filter manage that. The tank's in full-on ugly mode at the moment. Diatoms everywhere. I mean, it's not the worst diatoms I've ever seen in my life, but everything's just a little bit yellow, really. Still doing water changes. This ugly phase, you just got to ride it out. I wasn't too sure if the light was strong enough, but it's growing a little bit of green spot algae on the rocks just on the top there, so that's making me think that the light's fine. I didn't really want to spend too much time on this tank because I'm going to do a full update in a couple of weeks' time, tell you everything that's been going on. Had a couple of issues, but yeah, that's for the next video. All in all, though, I think it's turning into my favourite tank that I've got. But last up is my 9cm tank. This is my main tank that I have in my living room. I've recently sort of done quite a lot of amendments to it, so it's become a little bit unstable. And whilst I was away on holiday recently, when I came back, came back to find that I'd had quite a lot of BBA take over, particularly the old slow-growing Marsilia. It just seems to be covered in BBA, a bit on the rocks and on the woods. So I've been treating using this product from APT. What's it called? Yeah, APT Fix. So it's working quite well because the BBA where I've applied it is turning white and all the snails and the shrimp are starting to eat it. Marsilia, I think the Marsilia is going to have to come out, and we're just going to have to hope that the hairgrass and the Monte Carlo really sort of take over. I think the Marsilia hasn't grown well, possibly because there's not enough nutrients in the substrate. I've recently found out that Tropica soils do tend to deplete of nutrients relatively quickly, apparently. I don't know how true that is, but I don't know. Everything in the foreground's kind of struggled with this tank. So I've got some root tabs. I will probably dot a few in just around once I've taken out all of the stuff that's covered in BBA. And hopefully the stuff that's left will improve. But yeah, some of the crypts on the older dying leaves, they've got BBA all over it. So part of what I need to do in a maintenance session, I'm not going to do it today, but in an upcoming maintenance session is to trim off all the old struggling leaves that have got BBA on them. I will continue to apply this stuff. I don't know, I think I'm doing it, twice a week. I'm not doing too much because, I don't know, it may cause like more problems. There's quite a lot of fish in here, so I don't really want to damage them. But apart from the BBA in the front, the stuff at the back's looking pretty good. The Echinodorus, they're all doing really well. It's just this Bulbitis and Trident in the middle is kind of blocking them from view. So I guess that's lack of experience with the Bulbitis and the design and the layout. So that's something I can think about and improve on next time I do an aquascape. But all in all, I love this aquarium. If I can get this BBA under control, I'll be quite happy. Hopefully that's coming out on camera there. But yeah, the Marsilia is covered in BBA. So this rock here, I've treated it with that APT fix. It's cleaned up pretty well. If we can focus, there we go. But on this piece of wood, see all the BBA's gone white. A nice little shrimp there. If we can focus, there we go. Nice little shrimp there, just doing its work, helping out. Where is it? Yeah, so if we look at this crypt, this is Albedo Brown. Excuse the wobbly photography. Some of the older leaves got BBA on it. So when I next do a trim up session, I'll just go around all the crypts, removing the old leaves that have got BBA on it. And the same with those ferns, Bulbitis. But yeah, quite enjoying this aquascape.